Good morning, everybody. This is Martin John, and we are here to talk about the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written in the 6th century BC, presumably by a guy Lao Tzu, and is filled with all sorts of enigmatic wisdom and text on how we might live a more reasonable life. Living a reasonable life really kind of revolves around this idea of living a life in which we're not asking other people or things to change for us. We accept things as they are. We accept people as they are. And we treat them as they are. And we experience them as they are. We're not trying to fill in story. We're not trying to say what their experience is. We're not trying to say they're doing a thing or not doing a thing. We allow ourselves to experience them as we experience them and understand that the experience we're having is talking about us. So if we feel like someone else is doing something against us, we have to look at ourselves and say, well, where in my life am I doing things against myself as well? Like, where am I participating in the actions I'm seeing other people do around me? I'm experiencing other people do. Because we can never know what's happening in the mind of another person. We can never know what's happening in the life of another person, even if we live with them, even if they are our partner. We can't know what their inspirations are. We can't know what their aspirations are. They may try and tell us. But it was funny, last night I was at a dinner, and obviously it was Thanksgiving here in the States, right? And I talked about putting my SCOBY in my cat's food because I make my cat's food, and there's no why. There's no answer to the question why I put a SCOBY in their food, in Lou's food, my cat's food, when I make it. I just do it. I just did it one day. I just started doing it. And I do it because I have SCOBYs sitting around, and I'm like, I gotta do something with them, and I don't want to just throw them away, so I'll give them to my cat. I can't say if my cat benefits in any way from the SCOBY. I can only imagine that maybe it does, but it benefits me because it gives me more food for my cat, so it extends my cat's food, right? So this might be another 1 or 2 servings for my cat, and it's something that I have sitting around. But someone asked me, well, why do you do that? And I should have just simply said, oh, there's no why. I just do it. And I want to be able to be comfortable with thinking on my feet well enough in the moment to definitely, when someone goes, why do you do something? Because the reality of why I do a lot of things is I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe I was told to do it, right? Because like no one's ever asked me, like, why do you wipe after you go to the bathroom, right? No one's asked me that question, and I probably couldn't answer it. Well, I probably could because that's what I was taught. But in my mind, it would be like, oh, it's so I can be clean and all of these other things. But the reality is I was just taught that. Yes, okay, I've come up with a story as to why, because there's lots of ways to walk away from the bathroom and be clean, right? I could have a bidet, or I could, have a towel on the tub or whatever, like all sorts of things, But when someone asks you why, it's sort of like this. I felt yesterday there was this need to have a reason. And the reason I gave was like, oh, it's got probiotics. And really what I was trying to vocalize when I was asked that is that, oh, I just assumed that, why not? But that's what I want to be able to think on my feet long enough. And so someone goes, oh, why did you do that? One of the things when I was a kid, when I'd get in trouble, people would ask me why. And I remember being dumbfounded as to the question, because it was just like, why did you hit your sister? And it's like, I remember sitting there thinking, I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I decided to not do my homework. I don't know why. The why is such a mystery to me, and I have no idea why. And if I want to go out into the world and always be able to answer that question, I'd have to, come up with a litany of reasons why I would do anything. Like, I don't think about a lot of the actions I do in a day, but there are reasons probably. And then there are the inspired things. So most of the things I do in a day are probably rote, right? Things that just happen. And then there are the things that are new, and I'm inspired to do them. And then I can come up with some answers as to why. But I don't know if those whys are always the reason, right? Like my starting climbing definitely had, why did you do this? Well, I did that because it was brought up, it was brought into my awareness that I was judging people who climbed. And so I wanted to challenge my judgment of those people by doing the thing that I was judging them for. So that's a why. But there's very few things that I really, like, why did I judge them and all of that? Like, this can go back to a time where there was no why, and it was just inspiration. But it was interesting yesterday having that question of why and really sort of thinking about like where the answers to those come from and how quickly I move into answering that question without even thinking that, well, there doesn't have to be an answer to that question. Just let it go. Why do I need to answer that question? There's no need, like just because other people have the desire to have the answer doesn't mean that I have to make it up or have it for them. JK, how are you today? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was really good.
You had the neighbors over?
It was some neighbors I don't know very well, and it was interesting because one that came specifically for dinner, the other person didn't feel well, so I wound up bringing them just some food later on. They were very happy and thankful for that, and then I had people kind of coming by just like for coffee or cake or whatever. And it was really nice, and it was like an interesting flow of people were coming and going, and
now is this the first time you've ever done that?
Invited the neighbors over?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how did Eddie and your husband kind of deal with that? Because that might be new to them. I don't know, how did they react to it all?
No, everybody's good. Nobody's
good.
It's just a chill environment. It's not it was nothing hectic,
That's good. It's always nice. Like that's like how things can be, like, oh, it can just be nice. We can just hang out, have a little coffee, have a little cake, chat a little bit, have a little something, to build off of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that was the thing. Like, I don't know exactly what you were talking about. Like, I have no clue why I invited these people over. Like, I reconnected with a woman that I did a play with 10 years ago. And it was just so funny. And I said, if you want to stop by, and it was just that way, and that's all it was. And it was really, really nice because it wasn't, be here at this time and sit down at this time. And there was no, there was a structure, right? There was like, we had this thing, we had this kind of open house. We have this, food, and we have this stuff, but it wasn't, but there was substance there too. And it allowed people to come as they could. And it was a natural flow of things as opposed to being hectic, which was really, really wonderful.
Yeah. And that's that's very different than a lot of people are used to. I know when I go to Spain and I hang out with my family, people might stop by like at 9:00 at night and come in, mm-hmm. and as soon as they come by, like they're welcome in, they sit at the table, and like within moments, Antia, my cousin, has, some some ham and some snacks and some beverages, just like, and now we are sitting and talking around the table, and it's conducive. It's like the food isn't, it's like two communal plates or whatever, just like some maybe potato chips and some just some ham, just kind of sitting out, and oh, do you want a coffee? Do you want a beverage? Whatever, and it's just very chill. And it's like, oh, we're just going to sit and talk. And, like the conversation ebbs and flows, and we have a couple laughs, and then they leave, and it's really, there's something beautiful about community that is like that, that is a little loose.
Mm-hmm. And that's like that. Yeah, it's like that in Ireland too. I found it was so different to experience that. So I do know what you're talking about. 'Cause it didn't matter. Like you just walk into somebody's back door and you know, sit down for a cup of tea. That's all, every
Yeah.
time. And it was just, and then like you said, they'd put something out and you'd have a chat and then you go on and you leave. And it's really, really cool to have that flow. And I was never able to do that.
Yeah.
Never.
Beautiful.
It was like I couldn't because it was so caught up in all the other stuff. Like the house wouldn't be ready or whatever. Whatever why I decided to tell
Right.
myself. And I was fascinated with
There's
what
not
you
enough
were.
time, not enough this, not enough that, and it's just like, no. You live, and that time presents itself, or like, there's a statement that I used to say when I was younger, like, say less, say yes. It's like, just open yourself up to whatever's here.
Exactly. And it's wonderful. It really is. And that's I was listening to you earlier and you're talking about the why. I mean, who
Yeah.
cares? Because
Who
there's
cares why?
always you could always insert something,
That's right. You can always come up with a story, but that's all you're
Always.
doing. All you're doing is making up a story.
The story doesn't matter. I mean, it
No.
doesn't, you might need it when you're working on things or things that trigger you. I agree with you, but you want to put the energy there because then you can recognize your story and it helps you grow. And whatever you
Absolutely.
need in that moment to help you kind of move through that and mature and grow and evolve, then yeah, there's good energy there. But just answering a question that doesn't matter. And this is coming from somebody who asked why for everything
Right.
growing up and also being challenged by that now, with my son. He asked a lot of, why, but I also found like I was the parent that said, why would you do something like that? And I say it, I would hear myself say it and just be like, why are you even asking that question? This is a stupid question. They don't
Yeah.
know. They're
And
babies.
that was the thing that blew my mind as a kid. Like, I was like, do they know why they do things? Because I have no
No.
idea why I'm doing things. I have no idea why I say things. I have no idea why I'm like, there's no goal at the end of the day to like get a thing. And that was just who I was. I know my sister had goals, and that was a different thing. But I was like, obviously wasn't thinking about like the thing that I did. I just wanted to do it,
Yep.
you know?
Yep. And that
You
was
got a number. Oh, sorry.
I don't know. A girlfriend of mine would ask that question to one of her kids, and she goes, "I want to because I want to," and that was it. That was exactly her reply every
Yeah.
single time, and that's that. I love that answer because she just did what she did, and that was it. It didn't
Yeah.
matter. And I don't ask if I do ask that question to Eddie now, it's a whole different ball game because I stop and I'm like, it doesn't matter,
Right.
but I still have to actively think. And my guess is that your parents were, I don't know. But for me as a parent, I asked not even being aware of what I was asking.
Right.
It's
Yeah. No,
filling
they just,
space.
yeah, they
It's,
were, I mean, they were kids and they were angry and they didn't know what the hell they were doing. And so whatever.
yeah,
It's all
it
good.
does. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But at
No.
least, thank you for sharing that because as a parent, on the flip side, knowing now that it doesn't matter for me has been impactful for my son,
Right.
because
Yeah.
I can focus on what the issue is really that's going on, because whatever he did and whatever, understanding is kind of irrelevant. The root that in that instance, a root cause. But loving him is always, always, a good thing to be doing. And, like he hurt himself yesterday doing something. And, you know, I do still think, why would you do this? And it doesn't matter, you know, he needed a hug. It is what it is, and that was
Yeah.
it. And once I gave him a big hug and a kiss and, we talked about it and, whatever he was feeling, it was about what he was feeling and what he was experiencing in that moment. And I could be there to support if I got rid of the crap, same thing with the flow of the people yesterday. When I got rid of all the why and all the story in my head about my house is this and that and whatever, things will be able to flow and you could be you and you can connect with people. When you're not when I'm not me, I can't connect. I too caught up in the why and or whatever story, all kinds of things that go on in my crazy head. So I don't have a number. Would you pick one for me, please?
Yeah, I picked a random. It was 20. Stop learning, which I think is apropos. Stop your learning. It has not been helpful. There is no difference between yes and no, nor between good and evil. Most people would never know that. They define the manifestation as others have and foolishly give themselves up in favor of that. Everyone else wants to be excited. I prefer the darkness. I prefer to not care. Like a fool, I have no direction. Everyone else has abundance, while I seem to have lost it all. Within me, there is still no striving. It appears I am in chaos. Ordinary men look bright and intelligent, while I alone seem dull and confused. Aimless as if on the sea, drifting with nowhere to rest, I don't aspire to be like others. I am nourished by Tao. So what I see in this is, especially in the context of what we're talking about, the idea that everyone else wants to be excited. They want to have the answer. They want to know why. Like my parents, they wanted to know why I would do such a thing, whatever that was, right? And then why I would, and they were excited. They want to be excited. I was like, no, I just did a thing. I'm in trouble for doing that thing. But maybe I know while I'm getting yelled at why that doing that thing was bad, but I still don't know why I did it. Even though I know that it's bad now, and even though, it is no different between a thing that I did that was good, but you don't put the same attention, right? You're not giving me the same amount of attention when I do a good thing that you are putting me through because of this. And this is why it was so confusing to me as a child, when it's just like, well, why did you do that? Well, I was just acting the way I normally do and doing what I was inspired to do. And I was inspired to do this. And now I have to go off into some, when I was getting yelled at, I often just started thinking about other things. Like I would just start pretending, things on the floor and I would just sit there and just let them, berate me for however long they were going to do that, or, and I would just, doze off, whether I was, if I was going to get a beating, then I'd pay attention a little more, just because,
I know. You have to brace yourself.
But it didn't always turn into a beating. So, just getting yelled at, and then sent to my room or whatever. I would just sort of, I don't even know what they're talking about, because I couldn't answer the questions, and they, as they talk about here, most people would never know that. Most people never know, there's no difference in good and evil. They're both coming from you, and they're both inspired from inside of you. And it's just a judgment that's coming from the outside. If you want to, we talk about murder as being like an evil thing, and yet we praise soldiers who murder way more than some people who we might deem as evil. And so there is no difference. It's just in, and I'm not trying to compare the two or anything like that, but it is worth noting that most people would never know there's no difference between good and evil.
Yeah.
And they define the manifestation as others have. Go on.
Yeah, and I think you might have read this yesterday, for what is good, but a vision for the bad. And
yeah, 27. Yeah.
It's just it isn't. It just is. It's just what is in that moment.
Right.
And there is benefit in, at times understanding why, but not from a external perspective. I find, now it's internal. And when I ask why, that's a trigger for me to look at, okay, why do you care? Why are you trying to find out? And coming to that realization because, are you uncomfortable in this moment? Because, it doesn't matter. A lot of the stuff that we focus on doesn't matter, but it's a distraction from what really does. And we lose sight of it, or I lose sight of it when I'm kind of moving through life.
Well, and that's this line, like they define the manifestation as others have. And so that question of why did I do that is looking at your actions from the outside. And then the next line, and foolishly give themselves up in favor of that. We give up who we are for the definitions other people have shown us of the manifestation.
That's one of my favorite lines. I think of that line often because you do give up. You give up yourself. You give up your ability to connect and all those beautiful things that, really make us us and what we really want, what really fulfills us. We lose sight of that and we give it up and we're like, okay, good,
Okay, good. There I go, right? Like now I'm no longer me because I'm comfortable in the definitions other people have given me to define the world as. This verse, I really like this verse. I'm going to continue talking about this verse. If anybody wants to come up and pick a number, please do. I'm always open to having another guest. So it starts with stop your learning. It has not been helpful. We can learn plenty of things. There's plenty of things out there for us to learn. But what this is really talking about is learning about this difference between yes and no, good and evil, judgment of like this is higher, this is lower. These are the ways that we define the world around us. Okay, you want to learn math, you want to learn science, you want to learn, of course, go and learn those things and learn how to address those things and continue to have a place in your life where you're not learning, where you're not trying to sandwich things or push things into a box, where you can allow things to be what they are. So that's really when this starts with stop your learning. It's stop learning about who your neighbor is by observing him. Let your neighbor surprise you with who they can be. We all know our siblings, right? And we know, this is going to happen and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And I can predict what's going to happen. Yeah, this is going to happen again this year. And This is what this is telling you to stop learning. You've learned that, mom gets upset every year, but then one year she might not get upset. And what it says here, most people would never know that. You're going to go to your mom's house. You're going to expect her to get upset. And when you go home, it's like, I wish my mom she got upset here and here and here. But it's like, in her experience, maybe she didn't. Maybe that never actually happened. But you had the experience of that because you were going into it with learned behavior. You were going into it expecting something. What's up, JK?
Oh, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. No big deal.
I'll go back down. I was just listening and moving around.
Okay. No big deal. Yep. So stop your learning. It has not been helpful. It has not been helpful to learn in that way. Of course, this isn't about school. This isn't about, some things in school, because we do a lot of our learning in school. We do a lot of our learning. But it's all about the assumptions that we're making. That's the kind of learning that we're trying to talk about, not building. Marianne, how are you today?
Oh, I'm pretty good.
Good. How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was wonderful.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was up till midnight. I like go to
Whoa!
bed. Yeah.
Good.
Oh, gosh.
That's a late night. Look at you.
You tell me.
Were you partying with the girls?
No. No, I'm down in the city.
That was stern.
No, Carly came for a couple hours and then left. So, but no, I was down in the cities. I'm at my parents' house, and everybody comes here for Thanksgiving. So, yeah, it was just really nice. So,
well, good. I'm glad. What's going on?
Well, it was just funny, that whole why conversation you're having.
Yeah.
One of the techniques I have learned in sign language is, I'm not a real fluent speaker, and so my mind goes too fast and I can't find the words. So one of the techniques my tutor has told me, and it's structurally good, is, in sign language, you would kind of ask a question, or you kind of say a statement, and then you say why, and then you give the answer. So in sign language, it gives you, my brain, that minute to come up with then the answer. And so why is kind of like a pause. So.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, it'd be like, I went to the store yesterday. Why? I needed to buy some food. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So just kind of.
And what if So the interesting thing about the why in the conversation around Tao and all of this stuff is like, I went to the store yesterday. Why, and why is like a question that you actually sign?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And that is sort of asking it of yourself from the person you're in communication with?
It's just, it's a different structure of, we would say I went to the store or whatever to buy food, and maybe the store is not exactly, but, it's just their structure is different. They a lot of time you say, instead of saying, what is your name? You're like, your name what? So they put that question or the kind of the thinking verb at the end. I think so that it sticks with you in case maybe they're rambling or something, that's the important part of the sentence comes kind of at the end.
Oh, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. And that's structured in American Sign Language.
Correct. Yeah.
And American Sign Language, that was not something that's designed, right? Like that's not something that evolved. That's something that was designed. Am I correct?
It's actually after the French Sign Language.
Okay. Yeah. So they borrowed this structure from French Sign Language?
Maybe. I don't know for sure on that, but a lot of words.
Well, I'm intrigued because a lot of so if they borrowed from French, that's interesting because French is I believe Latin based, and so that that makes sense. Like speaking Spanish, so that structure does make sense a bit, maybe not. But yeah, so that's interesting. Like for, like sometimes there isn't the why, right? It's like I went to the store, even though I didn't need anything, I made something up to get because I wanted to go to the store. And it's just like, I want to go to the store. And it's just like, well, maybe I can just pick up more of this, whatever, And then you go to the store and you meet your friend. And it's like, I didn't know that they were going to be there, but you were inspired to go so you'd run into or have an experience that you're going to have. And it's almost like, I mean, have you had experiences like that where it's like there is no why, but you go about it in a way that puts you in a position to have an experience that you normally wouldn't have had?
Oh yeah, it happened a week ago. I went to a movie, and ended up going alone because it was a last minute decision, and everyone else was busy. And I got out of the movie, and as I'm leaving, I saw this Hannah, who I last year worked in Clearbrook as the OT. Anyway, and so I haven't seen her for a year. Or half a year, whatever. And so just started talking to her because I really liked her. And, it's one of the things about schools, people move in and out a lot. And so it was really fun. I met her and I met her husband, or I saw her and met her husband, found out they're pregnant. And as I'm talking to Hannah, another teacher who had a baby a couple of years ago and quit Clearbrook, she walked by and was like, "Hey, hi." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that was so much fun." That made the whole movie just...
And maybe... And again, you say it was a last minute decision. It's kind of like, yeah, maybe you wanted to see the movie. Maybe it was just a good time to go. But maybe at the core of all of it was this interaction, making it like, you don't know how you affected Hannah and the other teacher and Hannah's husband. You don't even know really how it affected you. Just having a nice time that is cordial and social. And it's like, wow, that opens you up to seeing new experiences. And as you open yourself up to see new experiences, you start looking at your old experiences and you start saying, there's stagnation here, and there's other things that need to be addressed or whatever, right? And you start to just get that pull deep inside of you into a new you, and we don't know, we can't explain or express what's actually happening, but that's that stillness and integration, right? We allow ourselves to go do a thing and then be still within it, and then let that sort of work its magic on us.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah, in a year before I started working with you, I was just always going. So now I almost crave that just sitting time or whatever.
Yeah.
Just the thing.
It's good. Do you have a number?
No, I don't.
I'm going to give you a random number. Number 6, the great feminine. Oh. That's you. Everything is born from the feminine, even heaven and earth. The feminine that births is a mother. She nourishes and supports without possessing. Despite your awareness of it, you're using it right now. And I do look at that as being inspiration. She nourishes and supports without possessing. Like, everything that you do, even if it's something that's hard, even if it's something that, that doesn't seem like it is, that isn't conspicuously or obviously supporting in the way that you may preconceive of what support looks like. It might not look like support. It might not look like it's nourishing. It might not look like those things. But because everything is born from the feminine, this experience is being born from the feminine. It's being born from care. It's being born from concern. It's being born from love in some way. And despite your awareness of it, despite your awareness of the feminine and of that deep support you offer the world around you, you're using that support. You're using that feminine energy. You're being supported by that feminine energy, and it's moving you forward. And you are being inspired by it to act of it. when Tao says, Tao does nothing but inspires everything to do. That's like, I was inspired, if I was talking earlier about feeding my cat my SCOBY, and it was like, I'm inspired to do that. I don't know why. I don't have a reason why. And I don't want to fall for the need to answer that question. I would much prefer to stop and say, I never had a why. I just did it. I want to be able to get to a place where I can answer that. I don't know why, and I can trust the direction it's bringing me because it is inspired. If I question myself in feeding it, I want to be able to say, okay, well, maybe I won't then. But I want to be able to have that conversation with myself and with the great feminine as I'm being supported through inspiration and I am continuing to inspire others.
That's nice. Yesterday I picked, I think it was Don't Cut Yourself. So I kind of feel like that's the total opposite in a way.
Yeah, don't cut yourself. It says like, well, don't cut yourself is about,
death of things, kind of, wasn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah, so don't cut yourself really kind of focuses on the idea of like overstepping. Like forcing others to do things. Like the person who asked me why, if she wants me to stop giving my cat SCOBY, she's going to step in and say, well, here are the reasons you should not do that. Right? And she is not nourishing and supporting without possessing. She's trying to possess my actions.
Right, and control your choices.
And control me, right. Whereas in Don't Cut Yourself, it says, if you want to, people are not naturally afraid to die. It is what we are born to do. Fear of death is important if you want to rule over people. And then that's where this goes. So this goes to a place of, if you want to rule over people, you have to artificially instill fear in their hearts. You have to know, they have to know they're wrong first. Right. Once they know they're wrong, you can control them. And what the great feminine is saying is that you're not wrong. Don't believe anybody that's telling you you're wrong. If you believe you're doing something that's wrong, correct it. That's later in other verses and stuff. But it's saying here, this is still being birthed from the feminine. And so you are being supported by your choice, your choices, and we're not possessing you. So even though you make a choice, you have the ability beyond that to change the way you're going to respond next time. And that's where, despite your awareness of it, you're using it right now. It is, I'm feeling like I like that I do this. I don't like that I do this. I like that I do this. I don't like that I do this. And then you start to observe your life from your experience, not from the definitions of others.
Oh, and yeah, that's a hard lesson. I'm working on that now.
You ain't telling me nothing I don't know.
So, no, I like that one too, because today's just going to be another day of lots of visiting. My niece and nephew are coming over to put up the Christmas tree for my parents, and we're going. I have my brothers and cousin make hot sauce, and so they're at not a craft sale, but they're selling it today with a whole bunch of other vendors, and so
nice.
I went last year. It was so much fun.
I remember the hot sauce adventure last year.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's fun. So anyway, I've really learned to put that on my eggs in the morning. It's delicious.
I bet. That's and hot sauce is addictive because of the heat.
Oh, yeah.
So that's probably why you get that craving for it.
Oh, seriously? Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, everything's really addictive, but when it makes your body feel strong, you get that. You get that opponent process that's exciting. It's kind of like caffeine and other things like that, like that. And it's wonderful. Oh, what kind of peppers do they use?
Oh, they use all kinds of different ones. So.
Okay. And what did you say? It's not bad for you?
Well, I hope that hot sauce in general isn't bad.
Well, it's a toss up because it is a nightshade. So if for some people it can, like I'm not supposed to eat. I try to avoid eating nightshades.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, bad for you, like whatever. It's not it's not like you're putting crack on your eggs. Right?
Yeah, no.
It's just hot sauce. You're all right. It's not like you're putting gasoline on them or anything like that. You're fine. You're good. It's not. There's nothing. Nothing bad.
That's good. Yeah, they have like 7 right now. They always kind of have a new.
Oh, good. Well, you just dropped off. If you wanted to come back and say a little something, you could. Otherwise, yeah. And then I'll bring up Julie and we'll chat a little bit. So they're doing what now with their sauces?
Oh, they have like 7, and they range from like a mild to a hot. That's like a ghost pepper, and they have one that's like pretty. It's purple, and like I've used that on salad instead of dressing.
Oh wow! And is that kind of a medium or?
Yeah, because I'm not a super hot person.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, I disagree.
Thanks. I can be spicy sometimes.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, I hope you have a great day today. Good luck to your cousins and stuff at the fair, and enjoy the Christmas tree raising.
I will. So thanks. You have a good day too.
All right. Love you. Bye bye.
Love you too.
They're gonna bring up Julie. And it's truly Julie. Not anymore. You're just Julie now.
Yeah, we don't need to tell people I'm truly who I am. They can find that out for themselves.
They can figure that out for themselves.
But I am hot and spicy, and on a Schofield scale, I'm probably a 10.
I bet. But now you were in hospital for a while. Like, what is going on with the body there?
I don't know, but my van's decided to join me. So, I've went into hospital. I missed my appointment to return to the hospital as well to get my ears looked at. So that needs to be rectified. On the back burner to go. But can I go? No, because my van is again in the garage, and this time it is the AdBlue. A little warning sign came up for my lovely van, and it said AdBlue. So like
AdBlue? What are you talking about?
AdBlue goes into the tank for diesel vans to help with reduction of emissions.
Oh.
What happens if you don't add AdBlue is your van will put up a warning, and you add AdBlue, like I did. And usually the warning will say, thank you very much. After you've driven it a little bit and it's recognised it's in there, it will go away. But no, my van doesn't want to do that. It wants to keep the warning up. Then it wants to give me a countdown of how many miles I can do before the engine will not start.
Oh, and it's going to, now, is it going to shut the engine down?
It will shut
on its own accord?
Yeah. Programmed
just because you didn't add blue?
Well, I did add blue. This is the problem. I did, as requested on the on the top. But yes, stayed on, and now it's back in the garage again, and it's already had a new battery, a new engine, a new clutch.
And now a new blue.
Well, I'm hoping it's not a new AdBlue tank, because that's expensive. It's programmed into the computer system that helps run these vehicles these days. This is the thing about complication. We have to complicate things that we think is going to be easy. But when those things fail and we have no knowledge on how to fix these things, we are then paying the tax.
That's right. So, and that knowledge of fixing them, like they create the problem.
Of course.
Right? They that way, and yeah, they didn't want to create the problem, because the government was like, and the problem ultimately was, oh, well, these cars are, like we need emissions because there's so much smog. And it's like, well, let's alter the cars and put the cost on everybody else, or rather than just like, why don't we go back to small living again? Why don't we just do it small? No. We're too invested.
We can never go backwards.
We can never go backwards. No.
Yeah. So anyway, to make the whole experience pleasant, I decided to drive my van over and just go with the flow, plan myself a journey on various buses and train fares, and counting out my small change to get on them. And I had all of my small change in a plastic glove as a purse, which was very amusing. I got to talk to lots of people. I got to have a little bit of fun, because all the change fell into various digits in the glove.
Right.
So then I could gauge, just for fun, how much each digit was worth. Would you like to know?
Because I was thinking, oh, did she tie up the fingers? Nope, no, you didn't.
No, I didn't tie up the fingers. I tied up the wrist of the glove, right?
Okay.
Because it was just fun. So the most valuable digit we have, this is going to make you laugh, for my life and for my experience, was the middle finger.
I bet it was.
Which made me laugh a lot. As I was travelling about, I could talk to lots of people on buses and trains, accost them and just chat and tell them my name. And, I just played with the whole thing. I played with the whole day because my thinking was either I can make this a crap day where I really am not enjoying myself, or I could decide to have a lot of fun with the day.
Yeah.
And I just chose fun because it's much more. I enjoy it. I know what I like. Well, actually, John, I know what I like. And what will be, will be. I may not be able to change the situation, but I can definitely change the way that I perceive it and the way that I interact with it. And that's what I did yesterday.
Right.
Today, of course, I'm feeling really crap because I've got no van.
Yeah, now you're out there in the world.
Not out there in the world, distracting myself with speaking to people and whatnot, and just finding fun. I am back in this warmth and safety that I am in.
Good.
I've had to call on my next pet sit and tell them the situation with the van. And they have said, don't worry, we'll get you on the train. So they're going to pay for the train fare, which is pretty expensive, but thank you very much.
And where are you headed?
We're going back up to the Midlands, to Stratford-upon-Avon kind of area. Okay. So that's quite a long way from here. But, isn't it nice that people will do, they value us so much that they still want our service. So they're going to pay for the train ride to get to them, which is fantastic.
I'm glad. You got a number today.
Oh, yeah. Let's go for a number that's going to pop into my head. Give me 3 seconds. 78. There we go. That came in nice and loud.
78. Living in a damaged state.
How wonderful is that?
Rather than living in a damaged van.
Or damaged ear.
Air and water are the softest things we know, causing no damage to those who live within them. Yet both erode the hard and rigid in their path. The soft and flexible will always overcome, while the hard and rigid eventually collapse. Ordinary men are well aware of this, however, they prefer conspicuous outcomes. Thus, they align with rigid hardness. It stands firm for a time, but it does not last. Therefore, the Master teaches us that we can live amongst things that damage without being damaged by them.
Correct.
I want to ask you about what stood out, but first, if you don't mind, I want to just kind of talk about the idea that you're going to be getting that train and they're going to be paying for you to get the train up to the Midlands. One of the things, this is saying, the soft and flexible will always overcome, and you were able to be soft and flexible and admit and speak up about, hey, there's nothing I can do. My van is my van's in the shitter, and here I am. Yeah. And this is a big deal, because that is you being flexible. You're saying, like, this is the situation I'm in, and where a lot of people would be afraid to, even if, and do whatever they needed to do, because they would want to be in control, and they would want to beg, borrow, or steal to get up there, to get to get to that sit, right? To do that, or just not do it, or just say, nope, I can't do it, we can't make it, whatever. Those are rigid hardness, right? That's like it's my way or the highway kind of ideas. But when you just sort of open up and say, hey, here's the situation, you open yourself up to that flexibility, and you're not asking them for anything. They offer it. They offer it, and their flexibility meets your flexibility, and then it can continue. You're going to get up there, and you're going to give them you're going to give them that much more, because they did definitely. That much more.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's going to come in little unspoken ways. It's not going to be like, oh, and I did this, so you know that I did it. It's just like, no, it's going to be done.
It's just gentle. Yeah,
it's just
gentle. Yeah.
And when it says, like, this is why we can live amongst things that damage. You're living in a state right now where things are tenuous, but you don't have to be damaged by it. Like you can have a good day yesterday, counting all your change and having fun with your glove and the people that are around you. And then now here you are. And it could be that eventually this is like, oh, this is a hard day. Yes. Okay. That's fine too.
It's only a hard day, though, if you decide that that's what it's going to be, Martin John.
Right.
It's still not a hard day.
And again, that's okay too. Like if you want to decide that, like, and like you said, today was kind of crap, and that's okay.
It might be a hard day when they give me the bill. That might be a hard day
for the van. Yeah. And you actually, like, and that enters you into, like, and I'm glad you used the word might, because that keeps you inflexible. Yeah. It keeps you flexible. Right. It keeps you in a space of flexibility. And as you explore that, and maybe they give you the bill and it's a lot more than you expected, but then you never know where you're going to be supported elsewhere to allow that bill. Maybe they'll be like, okay, you can pay us in installments, or you can do whatever, or who knows? I don't want to.
Who knows? I don't know.
Right.
I think the flexibility is to allow that bill to be flexible as well.
Right. Allow
all of it. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, there is rigidness in that by you saying, okay, allow the bill to be flexible. Allow everything to be flexible.
Yeah, that's right,
if the bill is £7,000, well, maybe you're going to find 7,000 pounds on a scratch off. Who knows what's going to happen, right? Like that'll fill that will complement.
You can only allow it. Yeah, you can only allow it.
Right. That's it. Like, just opening, because the moment you say, I can't pay this.
Yeah.
Is the moment
then you won't.
Right. Then that is when you start closing off, because maybe you can't pay it, but maybe someone else can, and maybe someone else is willing to. Who knows what you're going to find?
Oh, it's all fun.
Once you start to open yourself up to that flexibility.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
not. Go on.
It's all fun. The thing is the
life is easy, babe.
It is. The problem with having to know, that is what I call inflexible. When you have to know a thing.
Right. You have to know. Right.
When you can just not have a need to know, but know that you can be flexible when the time comes, or, as the experience unfolds, there's that natural flexibility in it all. And that really is quite helpful to your health, because the most important thing that I find in all of this is the fact that I get to experience this stuff. I'm still, experiencing it, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And I can choose to be flexible, and I can choose to enjoy it or not. It's totally up to me. It's very flexible,
Right.
So I enjoyed myself yesterday. I enjoyed telling the lady where I am staying at the moment all about it as well. And then asking if I could store all my stuff in her garage, which she said, yes, you can. So that when you share it, when you become flexible with the information and you allow other people flexibility, or you're allowing people to help you. You're in receive mode. I'm going to put it out there. Whatever you decide, that's okay. And people will help you. They definitely will. And I've not found that not to be the case since I've allowed that flexibility. Since I've lived that flexibility, I found that it's pretty helpful. So, yeah.
Yeah, we got it, and in that flexibility, like the things that surround us could be damaging, like the bill. The things that surround us could be damaging by like people or whatever, but we don't have to be damaged by it. As long as we stay flexible and get a vision broad enough to see that flexibility can help us stay safe in these surroundings.
Yeah. For sure. The only thing that I said, the only thing really for me that is beautifully precious is the experience and the life that I have. And that's it.
Yeah. All right, dear. Love you. Have a great day. We're going to bring Linda on. Hey, Linda. It's been great getting to know you. How are you doing?
Hello. Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good. I'm just
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was pretty darn good. Thank you.
I'm glad. Yeah.
And you were doing some art. You're doing a mosaic, is that right?
I am. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How big is it?
11 feet by 7 feet.
11 feet by 7 feet. And what are your materials?
Glass smalty.
Oh, that is so cool. All different colors?
Yeah. No, so I'm not the designer. So he was my mentor years and years ago, but he's pure now. And he, got a mosaic to go into the Lawrence Red Line station of the Chicago CTA, the Transit Authority station, for their train station. And we did this mosaic last year. It took about 5 months to make it. And then it got destroyed by the construction company. And so we're doing it again. And the lead artist, the guy who made the design, he did the hands and the faces this time. And now me and one other artist is doing the rest. I'm working on some of the clothes and the bodies and the train and the sky and some of the ground and other things like that. So it's a big undertaking. It'll be another 6 to 8 weeks before we're done probably. And we started in the beginning of, I believe the end of September, beginning of October.
Okay. It's a big investment of work time and yeah.
Yeah. 6 hours a day, at least 5 days a week. I usually put in 6.
And it's on a wall or on the floor?
So it's going to be on a wall, but right now it's just on a table. And then there's a technique that we're using that will transfer it so that the installers can put it on the wall. So there's 2 different ways of making mosaics that are this large, right? Like there's direct mosaic, which you go to the wall, you put in a little bit of cement, and then you put in 6 or 7 tiles, and then put in a little more cement, put in the tiles, put in a little more cement. Or you do it this way where you cut it up into, you put it on, you sandwich it between mesh and what's called mosaic tape, and then you cut it up into smaller, like 1 to 2 foot square pieces, and then you put it on. But because the tiles aren't, like, they're all cut, right? And so they're not square tiles, so it's not like, you know, like it's all very uneven. So you need people that know how to install it. So we would install it, but because it's a city project, we can't. So
very technical. I don't understand everything you said, but it sounds like a real investment.
You know, like when you're when you're in the arts and like you do you know, you want to experience all of the different mediums and stuff. Tom, the lead artist, he's the one who did the design. He's a great artist and that is, you know, getting a lot of accolades these days and stuff. And it's really good. And he enjoys working in different mediums and seeing his art, and his design work and not design, but his paintings kind of expressed in different forms. You know, so it's great.
Good to you because you're doing the heavy lifting, really, right?
Oh yeah, we're again. He was like my first art teacher. I've known him for 30 years. He sold me his house, and we're real tight. Like we're good.
Oh,
people.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, my life is easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a reading for me?
Yeah. Do you have a number, or do you want me to pick one?
I was thinking of 6.
6. Oh, well, we read 6 today, The Great Feminine. Did you hear that?
Oh, okay. We can just stick with that. I could just tell you what I'm doing today.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll read number 6 with you. What are you doing today?
I'm going to go to yoga. I forgot that I had signed up for my yoga class, my Friday yoga class, and I was mad because I went to the mall yesterday and I was like all gung-ho that I was going to walk in the mall and get my exercise that way. Yeah. And then I thought, oh, it's Black Friday, yuck. And then it's going to be crowded for the next month. And I was getting all down, but like, it's a nice sunny day and maybe I'll go out for a walk.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. And I was thinking about the psychological flexibility or the flexibility you were talking about with Julie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And like, that's a theory, right? As a therapist, that's one of the theories. And I know about flexibility all my life, but, like just hearing you guys talk about it, it was so real. It was really cool. I appreciate it. It made it real for me.
Yeah. No, there's so much, you know, and that's one of the nice things about the Tao, is that there are these, the riddles. Right? So they're all written out sort of with something for you to figure out for yourself. It's not trying to, you know, one of the chapters of the Tao says, say what is to be said and no more. And so it's like by putting this out there, right? Like it says, air and water are the softest things they know, causing no damage to those who lived within them. Yet both erode the hard and rigid in their path. And it's like, okay, like, that's giving us a lot to really think about. Like the hard and rigid are going to be eroded by these things that cause no damage. And so, you know, like, and this is all about living in a damaged state. And like, if you live in a damaged state and whatever that means to you, I mean, we can look at it as being, a damaged country. We can look about it as being a damaged, you know, like going home for the holidays can be damaging. Right? Because it's like, oh, there's going to be all these things. But it's like, if I go in there with the rigid idea that this is going to be bad, well, then this is going to be bad. But if I go in there with some flexibility and say, well, let me see what's happening. Let me see, you know, like you and I think read, you know, a scientist observes for the first time every time.
Yes.
You know, that one, you know, it's just like, let me go into this scenario as if it's my first time, and let's see what happens. And let me see if I can perceive it differently than I expect to perceive it. And that is bringing in deep flexibility, like really deep flexibility. There's another verse of the Tao that says, be as, you know, it utilizes the term, you know, like, it's not the term, but as much as you can. Like be as flexible as you can, as possible in this moment. Because if you can do that, you're pushing yourself to try and do it more. You don't let great be the enemy of good, right? If this is as flexible as you can be right now,
good is good enough.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And when you recognize that, oh, I could have done better and I quit too early. Good. Now you can go to the next situation and go a little further.
Yeah. That's so true. Even in my yoga practice, like I have a good practice. I'm a big woman, but I have a good practice and I only go once a week now. But it's like I cherish those moments because I feel like I'm good enough when I'm there.
Well, and if you can carry that with you, right? Carry that I'm good enough with you.
Yeah.
Then every area of your life becomes increasingly more flexible. Because you're not measuring from the last time. You're measuring.
Right, you're just there this time.
You're just there now, doing this. And that's why so like as an artist, my work is my practice. As a yoga, it's your practice. As a therapist, it's your practice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not, and the moment it becomes work, you start getting increasingly rigid.
Yeah.
Because we have to see it from a perspective of advancement.
Yes. Yeah, it's like I can get excited about that idea, and then I could also say, oh my gosh, life is so fragile, isn't it? Like that kind of attitude.
Right.
But life is fragile. If you say it in the right way, it's the true, real thing.
Right.
I mean, you can say it in so many different ways, you know, emphasize the different words. Yeah.
You'll never know the truth. You'll know only how you're seeing it. You can only know how you're perceiving it. You can only know how, and that isn't always coming from you.
Right. There are a lot of things out of my control.
Right. And that's one of the interesting things about this number 6, which was the great feminine. And what it reads, and it's really short. Everything is born from the feminine, even heaven and earth. The feminine that births is a mother. She nourishes and supports without possessing. Despite your awareness of it, you're using it right now. We're going to look at your yoga practice because we talked about that. The feminine that births is a mother. You are the mother of your yoga practice.
Mm-hmm.
She nourishes and supports without possessing. You don't have to judge your yoga practice. You can simply nourish and support it right now as it is. You don't have to possess it. You don't have to try and get it to advance. You don't have to try and make it anything more than it is. You can just allow it to be. And when you are inspired to push a little further, push a little further. And when you are inspired to lay back and do deep breathing, lay back and do deep breathing. Even if the whole class is, doing camel, you can be like, I'm gonna do cat and cow. Like, that's what I'm gonna do right now. Because this is your practice. And yes, you're in a class. I understand that. You can respect the class without, that is, you can live in a state that damages without being damaged by it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talked in the last one, right? And that's 78.
Yeah.
And so despite your awareness of it, you're using it right now. So if you fall under the influence of the class, you're using it. It is supporting you to maybe feel a certain way that will help you be more you. It's not necessarily
sitting up straighter just listening to you.
It's not necessarily, there's that, I don't know, but most of us have seen, of a certain age, have seen The Matrix. You've seen The Matrix?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Long time ago. There was a scene in the original Matrix where he goes to see the Oracle, and the Oracle tells him he's not the one. But he obviously is, right? She told him what he needed to hear.
Oh.
Just like you get to experience what you need to experience to become who you are. So if you experience living under the influence of the yoga class, if you experience living under the influence of drugs or alcohol, or living under the influence of the economic system or your parents or whatever, that's what you need to inspire you to get out from under its influence. It is not trying
it's
to
like
say
lessons learned kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and this is still like you are inspired to live under the influence of those things so that those things will inspire you to learn the lessons you need to learn to be the person you're going to be. And it's convoluted, and it's so intertwined with everything. And we receive this. And this is why it says she nourishes and supports without possessing. I'm not going to possess you, but I'm going to nourish and support you through these experiences. And you're going to do with those experiences what you're going to do with these experiences. That's why it says, despite your awareness of it, you're using it right now, no matter what it is.
Yeah, wow. Wow, that's good.
I like the dough. I do.
Yeah, I'm liking it too. Did you ever hear of this book, The Tao of Pooh?
I did. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't read it. Like my book club was reading it, and I never got to read it. But I lent it out to somebody. I should ask her what it's about.
It is very aligned with Tao. Obviously, it's talking. Yeah, it is taking a cute sort of step into. You'll hear in that book a lot that we talk about here.
Okay.
Yeah, in a light sense. I mean, I get pretty heavy pretty quick, but
You're doing great. Have a great day.
You too. Enjoy your yoga.
Thank you.
All right, dear.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, such a beautiful day after Thanksgiving. Hopefully you all get out and do your walks and get in your steps and be careful out there on Black Friday, whatever you guys do. I prefer Buy Nothing Day. This is what I do. But I might have to do some grocery shopping. We'll see. I didn't cook, so life is easy. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This is Martin John. If you benefit from the work I do here, please check out the links in my profile. You can find links in my Linktree or my website in order to support this show through Venmo or buy me a coffee. You can also pick up a copy of my Tao Te Ching. You can do that directly through Linktree. There'll be a direct link that you can get to my shop, or you can go to my website. Under what we do, you can find the shop, and you can pick up a copy of my Tao Te Ching there. Other than that, love you guys so much. Have a great weekend. I'll be back on Monday morning, and until next time, keep recovering yourself.